UNESCO Endowed Chair Medallion. Invite the Secretary to the Ministry of Education and the Director General of SACTD to join the Honorable Prime Minister for the presentation of the commemorative plaque. Professor Lakshman Samaranayake, Endowed Chair of SACTD, UNESCO Teacher Development.
Good morning to you all. Standing here today at Temple Trees in the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister and distinguished dignitaries, I do so with deep humility and profound gratitude. So I accept the UNESCO SACTD C2C Honorary Endowed Chair with heartfelt appreciation. So this distinction is not merely a personal recognition. It represents a lifelong journey shaped by Sri Lanka's visionary commitment to free education, enriched by global engagement, and guided always by an abiding obligation to give back to our society and to the motherland. And therein lies the central message of my short speech today. To receive this honor in my own country is especially moving. It symbolizes not arrival but return, a reaffirmation of where the journey began and where one's responsibility ultimately lies. When I graduated from University of Peradeniya in 1970s, I stood at crossroads. I could have chosen the predictable path of clinical practice as a dentist. Instead, I chose the less traveled path of academic inquiry. And it has indeed made all the difference, as Robert Wood has said. What began as curiosity about a microscopic organism which lives in the mouths of 50% of us evolved into more than 4 decades of research, scholarship, mentorship, and institutional leadership. This journey carried me across all continents, into lecture theaters, halls, laboratories, editorial offices, and executive deanships. This experience has taught me a simple and abiding truth. No ranking, no citation index, no number of publications, as mentioned earlier, determines the true greatness of an institution. Institutions rise and fall on the strength of their teachers, particularly the academic institutions, as well as schools and all the teaching institutions. When the Faculty of Dentistry in Hong Kong rose to the world's #1 ranking, QS ranking, during my tenure as the dean, it was not because of infrastructure. We had just only one building, and not because of the financial endowments. It was because of inspired and committed teachers committed to excellence and purpose. So teacher development, therefore, is not a peripheral concern. And I believe most of you know that it is a national imperative. A nation that invests in its teachers invests in its future. Everything I have been privileged to achieve rests upon foundations laid by my teachers in colleges and schools and universities here in Sri Lanka. So I am a grateful beneficiary of this nation's extraordinary commitment to free education. From my earlier schooling through the university, I received an education that elsewhere might have committed a small fortune like in US or Europe. Yet here it was offered freely, sustained by the dedication of teachers and the sacrifice of ordinary citizens through their public purse. Now, such a gift carries responsibility. The responsibility of giving back. The principle of giving back, what we call dana, is deeply woven into the culture and spiritual heritage of our society. So as we approach the Vesak ceremony tomorrow, we are reminded of the Lord Buddha's timeless teaching, Sabbadanang Dhammadanang Jinati. The gift of knowledge excels all other gifts. So in accepting this endowed chair today, I regard it not as a culmination, but as a continuation, a renewed pledge to advance teacher development and educational equity in Sri Lanka, and of course throughout Asia, where I am teaching on various courses and various workshops, etc. The great universities have flourished because individuals chose to invest not merely in structures, but in ideas that outlived them. Endowed chairs sustained in perpetuity have strengthened institutions across generations. So I have made a modest attempt to initiate such a tradition in my alma mater, Peradeniya University, where in 2 months' time, in August, end of August, the first endowed chair, supported through another personal donation of mine of 8 million rupees, will be awarded to a distinguished scholar. So that's in August. Also, today, this is a surprise to you, most of you, I also reaffirm that my commitment to SACTD extends beyond this ceremony. As Sir Winston Churchill once said, this is not the end, it is the end of the beginning. So I'm therefore honored to pledge, on additional of the seed grant I have given, another 3 million rupees to the SACTD Center. Thank you very much. And I will not give it in once. 1 million rupees annually in each January beginning 2027, right? To support the center's vital mission of nurturing, and I always say this should be the motto of the SACTD, teaching the teachers, those who teach teachers, right? So, Honorable Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, at a time when the world is being reshaped by rapid technological advancements and artificial intelligence, we must remember that our most precious national resource remains human intelligence, and that most of you know. The wisdom of our teachers and the aspirations of our younger people lie on them. If we strengthen teachers, we strengthen generations. If we empower educators, we empower the nation. So allow me to conclude with words that have guided me throughout my life by a famous philosopher you had heard of, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I quote, he said, "To leave the world a bit better, to know even one life has breathed easier because of you have lived. This is to have succeeded." End of quote. So if through this endowment, even one teacher teaches with greater confidence, one student dares to dream more boldly, and one child's future becomes brighter, then this honor will have fulfilled its true purpose. So I accept this honor, ladies and gentlemen, with humility and gratitude. Finally, I wish to thank SACTD leadership for this singular honor, which I treasure. I have got so many honors. I'm not bragging, but this is the biggest honor I have got, and this is a lifetime honor. And I would like to thank Honorable Prime Minister for gracing this kind occasion and garlanding me with this honor. And I also like to thank, of course, my teachers in my schools, Royal College, and all the other places, University of Peradeniya, and also teachers in other parts of the world, my students, and over 40 of my trainees, PhDs and masters, most of them in Sri Lanka now, and one of them is here today. And of course, my colleagues. And last but not the least, my family, Unfortunately, my wife, Hema, could not be here, Mamali, but my son, Asanka, is here. And above all, I would like to dedicate this to all Sri Lankans. Thank you very much. May you all have a peaceful afternoon and a blessed Vesak ceremony tomorrow. Thank you very much.